A week had passed since the ramen incident. Athena had really tried to get her motorcycle back from her parents' house, but they refused. No matter how much she argued, begged, or even threatened to run away, they wouldn't budge. A proper young lady shouldn't be riding around on a motorcycle, her mother had said. Xander will take you to school from now on, her father added, as if that was the most logical solution. Athena nearly screamed. Now, here she was, standing outside the penthouse, dressed in her school uniform, arms crossed, waiting for the last person she wanted to see first thing in the morning. The sound of a sleek black car pulling up made her groan. The driver's side window rolled down, revealing Xander, looking as effortlessly perfect as always in his tailored suit. He adjusted his sunglasses and smirked. "Well, well, look at you, so eager for our morning drives together," he mocked. Athena rolled her eyes. "Trust me, if I had my motorcycle, I wouldn't even look at you." "Good thing you don't then." He unlocked the car. "Get in." She huffed and slid into the passenger seat, slamming the door for extra effect. Xander chuckled, but didn't say anything as he pulled onto the road. The ride was painfully silent at first. Athena stared out the window, arms crossed, trying to ignore how damn nice his car smelled. Then, out of nowhere, Xander spoke. "Your skirt's too short." She whipped her head toward him. "Excuse me?" "You heard me," he said lazily, eyes still on the road. "Your skirt, too short," Athena scoffed. "Oh, what? You suddenly care about my modesty?" "I don't care," Xander said, smirking. "Just making an observation. A lot of guys are going to be looking at you." "Good. Let them look." Xander's jaw ticked slightly, but he didn't reply. Instead, he changed the subject. "Don't expect me to pick you up after school." Athena brightened. "Really? Great. But I will be." Her excitement crashed. Why?" "Because your parents said so." She groaned dramatically, slumping in her seat. The moment they arrived at school, Athena practically threw herself out of the car, eager to escape him. Xander leaned on the open window, watching her. "Don't get into trouble, little wife." She flipped him off before storming inside. This arrangement was going to kill her. Athena stormed through the hallways, still fuming about the morning. The moment she spotted Mia and Ali by their lockers, she stomped over. "You will not believe the bullshit I have to deal with," she announced, throwing her bag down dramatically. Mia smirked. "Let me guess. Xander?" "Bingo!" Al leaned against the locker, amused. "What did he do now?" Athena threw up her hands. "First of all, my parents won't give me my motorcycle back, and guess who they put in charge of taking me to school?" Mia gasped. "No." "Yes," Athena groaned. "I have to sit in his stupid, expensive car every morning like I'm some trophy wife." Al laughed. "Well, technically you are." "Shut up." Mia leaned closer, grinning. "At least he's hot." Athena gagged. "You, don't even start." Mia and Al exchanged glances, giggling, while Athena grabbed her books. "If I survive this year without murdering him, it'll be a miracle," she muttered as the bell rang. The last bell rang, and Athena groaned. She had almost convinced herself that maybe, just maybe, Xander would forget about picking her up. No such luck. The moment she stepped outside, a sleek black car was waiting at the curb, drawing attention from half the students. Some girls whispered excitedly, trying to guess who was inside. Athena pulled her hoodie over her head and rushed toward the car, yanking the door open. "Drive, now!" she hissed. Xander smirked, tapping his fingers against the steering wheel. "No, hi, darling husband." "No, thank you for picking me up." Athena glared. "I would rather walk barefoot through glass." Xander chuckled, but finally started driving. As they hit the road, Athena's phone buzzed. Mia. He actually came to get you? Grr. Isle. Tell me he picked you up in a limo. Athena. No, but it's a car that costs more than my life. Kill me. Mia. LMAO. Maybe he's secretly in love with you. Athena. Block me. Xander noticed her smirk. What's so funny? None of your business, old man. Xander arched an eyebrow. Old man? Yeah, you're like ancient, basically a fossil. He scoffed. I'm 34. Exactly. Ancient. Xander exhaled sharply, shaking his head. You're impossible. And you're annoying. The bickering continued all the way home, neither of them realizing how much they had started to enjoy it. Xander knew he was in trouble. 3 months had passed since Athena came into his life, and instead of fading into the background like someone he could ignore, she was everywhere. In his penthouse, in his head, in his dreams. At first, he told himself it didn't matter. He continued with his usual routine. Nights at the bar, casual conversations, harmless flirting. He kept his distance emotionally, always finding comfort in temporary company. But no matter how many women entered his world, none of them were her. And that drove him crazy. Tonight was no different. He was at the bar again, his secretary sitting close beside him, whispering something flirty in his ear. His hand rested on her thigh, his lips close to her neck, but his thoughts were far away. They were on Athena. He could picture her walking around his penthouse like she owned the place, those tiny tops she wore, her long legs on display, her skin glowing. She didn't even seem to realize what she was doing to him, but it was enough to drive him up the wall. Xander, the woman beside him said, leaning in, let's go back to your place. His hand tightened around his glass. He should have agreed, he normally would have, but instead he muttered, not tonight. She stared at him, clearly confused. Not tonight? That wasn't like him. But he couldn't explain why he felt so numb around everyone else. No one got to him the way Athena did. He threw some cash on the counter and left the bar without another word. This was getting out of control. Athena lay stretched across the couch, aimlessly flipping through her phone. 2 months into this marriage, and she'd gotten used to Xander being gone most of the time. He was either working or out partying, and truth be told, she was okay with that. There was only one issue. Her parents still hadn't returned her motorcycle. She had begged, argued, and even tried sneaking it out, but they wouldn't budge. They insisted it was too dangerous. A proper wife doesn't ride motorcycles. Let Xander drive you. She groaned and hurled a pillow across the room. Why did everything in her life feel like a battle? As if on cue, her phone buzzed. Xander, I'll be home late. Don't wait up. She rolled her eyes, as if she would. She tossed the phone aside and relaxed deeper into the couch, her crop top rising a bit, revealing the smooth skin of her stomach. She didn't give it a second thought. After all, she was alone in the penthouse. She got up and wandered to the kitchen to grab a drink, not bothering to pull her shirt down. What she didn't realize was that the moment she turned around, Xander had just stepped inside the penthouse. Xander slammed the door behind him, already annoyed. He yanked off his tie and tossed it on the couch. His mind was spinning. And then he saw her. There she was, standing in the kitchen, reaching up for a glass. Her crop top lifted slightly, revealing her waist. She looked completely at ease, oblivious to the effect she was having on him. His jaw tensed. She turned to look at him and casually said, "Oh, you're back." That was it? After everything that had built up inside him, that's all she had to say? She walked right past him, not even noticing how closely he was watching her. He needed to cool off. Badly, he needed her. But that wasn't an option. So he went to his room, frustration pouring through every muscle. He loosened his belt and stepped inside. The city lights outside his window shimmered in the darkness of his room. And still, all he could think about was Athena. He sat on the edge of his bed, heart pounding. Images of her flashed through his mind. Her legs curled up on the couch, the shape of her waist, the way her lips parted when she was annoyed. His breath hitched as he tried to shake the thoughts. He pressed his hands against his face, letting out a frustrated sigh. He needed something, anything to distract him. But nothing worked. He leaned forward, resting his elbows on his knees, trying to focus on something else. But his thoughts kept circling back to her voice, her face, her presence. Even after everything, it wasn't enough to push her from his mind. It was never enough. The weekend arrived, and for once, Athena didn't have to deal with school or the exhausting routine of waking up early just to get driven around by her so-called husband. She stretched lazily, her oversized shirt slipping off one shoulder as she walked barefoot into the kitchen. Her hair was a mess, her body still warm from sleep, but she didn't care. She put on a pot of coffee and started making breakfast, her lips curling as she poured tea into a separate cup. "Not like that old man appreciates it," she muttered, "but whatever." As the eggs sizzled on the pan, she yawned and adjusted her clothes, or rather, lack of them. The oversized shirt was falling off her shoulder, exposing a little more skin than intended. She hadn't bothered with a bra, and as she leaned over to flip the eggs, the shirt shifted further, causing her nipple to press against the soft fabric. She didn't think twice about it. Why should she? Not like he's even looking. She tried to ignore the voice in her head, focusing on her cooking, but then, the unmistakable sound of footsteps. "Taking out your anger on my eggs, wifey?" Her breath hitched. That voice, deep, smooth. Damn him. Athena turned her head, only to freeze at the sight before her. Xander stood by the counter, arms crossed, watching her. He wasn't in his usual suit today. No perfectly tailored blazer, no crisp dress shirt. Instead, he wore only sweatpants, the waistband dangerously low, revealing the lines of his toned torso. His hair was tousled, and his jaw had a light dusting of stubble. Athena swallowed. Not fair. "How long have you been standing there?" she muttered, trying to sound casual, even though her pulse was racing. "Long enough." She turned back to the stove, trying to focus on anything but the growing tension between them, but she could feel his gaze like heat against her skin. Xander took a step closer, and his voice dropped an octave. "Are you trying to make me lose control, Athena?" Her breath caught in her throat. "What?" she asked, but her voice came out breathless. His gaze dropped, slowly, carefully, to her exposed skin, her loose shirt, the way it hung off her body. And when it lingered for a moment longer than she'd anticipated, Athena's heart began to race. "You walk around dressed like that?" He smirked, taking another step closer. "For your husband. You know exactly what you're doing." Athena didn't say anything, but the air between them thickened, heavier with each word. Xander's eyes burned into her, his lips curling into a challenging smile. "You might be innocent, Athena, but don't think for a second I don't notice how you're trying to tempt me." She raised an eyebrow, trying to fight the heat rising in her chest. "I'm not doing anything." But she couldn't ignore the way his eyes darkened, the way he stared at her. It was like he was waiting for something, anything, to break. Her breath hitched as she realized she wasn't sure what was going to happen next, but something told her it wouldn't be good for her heart. Xander's stare didn't waver, the heat in his eyes now a tangible thing that made Athena's skin prickle. The air around them felt charged, thick with unspoken words, with tension that had been building for days. Her heart was racing now, her breathing shallow. She could feel the weight of his presence pressing against her, pulling at her resolve, making her want to look away but unable to. It was as if his gaze had pinned her in place, demanding something from her that she didn't want to give. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then Xander took a small step forward, closing the distance between them. His body was so close that Athena could feel the heat radiating off him. She could smell the faint scent of his cologne mixed with the sharpness of his natural musk. It made her stomach flip, her hands momentarily losing their grip on the spatula in her hand. "You think I'm not watching?" Xander's voice was low, almost teasing now, but there was an edge to it that Athena couldn't ignore. "You're impossible, you know that?" Athena's mouth went dry as she struggled to maintain her composure. "What do you want from me, Xander?" she asked, trying to sound unaffected, though the question came out softer than she intended. His lips curled into that damn smirk again. "I want you to stop pretending like you don't know exactly what you're doing." He took another step, now just inches away, and Athena had to fight the urge to step back. "You walk around like you don't care, but you do, and you want me to care too." "Well, guess what, Athena? I've been paying attention." She couldn't deny the thrill that rushed through her at his words. It was the strangest combination of fear and excitement, and it made her pulse quicken, but she refused to let him know how much he affected her. "Stop talking in riddles, then," she snapped, trying to regain control of the situation. "If you're so damn interested, then what are you going to do about it?" Xander's expression shifted then, his gaze darkening with something more intense than she'd ever seen before. "You'll find out soon enough," he muttered, his tone shifting into something more dangerous. Before Athena could react, Xander turned and walked away, leaving her standing there, breathless, confused, and unsure of what had just transpired. Next day in the class, Athena sat in class, staring at her notebook, but she wasn't actually reading anything. No matter how hard she tried, her mind kept drifting back to him. "You walk around dressed like that, you know exactly what you're doing." Her face heated up as she remembered the way Xander's gaze had darkened, his voice lower than usual. The oversized t-shirt had slipped off one of her shoulders, and since she hadn't been wearing anything underneath, she realized too late that it might have exposed more than she intended. "I want you to stop pretending like you don't know exactly what you're doing." Athena clenched her jaw. That damn pervert. She wasn't trying to tempt him or anything. She had just wanted to be comfortable, and it was his fault for looking at her like that. Mia, who was sitting beside her, poked her shoulder. "You've been zoning out for the past 10 minutes. What's up?" Al smirked from across the table. "Thinking about your dear husband?" Athena groaned. "No." Mia grinned. "Then why do you look so flustered?" Athena hesitated before grumbling. "It's nothing. Just, last night I was just wearing a big t-shirt, and Xander acted like it was some kind of problem." Al raised an eyebrow. "Wait, just a t-shirt?" Mia smirked. "Like no shorts?" Athena rolled her eyes. "Of course with shorts, but so what? It was just me in the penthouse." Al burst out laughing. "Well, damn, if my wife walked around dressed like that, you know what would happen." Mia smacked his arm. "You're disgusting." Al grinned. "I'm just being real. He's still a man, Athena." Mia nodded. "And let's be honest. He might not admit it, but there's no way he hasn't thought about you like that. It's been months. You really think he feels nothing?" Athena scoffed. "No way. Stop it, guys." Al smirked. "You can deny it all you want, but sooner or later, you'll see we're right." Athena leaned against the wall outside the school, waiting for Xander to pick her up like always. Her phone buzzed. "Xander, I can't pick you up today." She frowned. Athena. "What? Why?" "Xander, I have a meeting." Athena sighed. Great. She had forgotten her card and keys, which meant she couldn't go back to the penthouse without him. Athena. "Fine, then I'll go to my parents' house." His reply came immediately. "Xander, no, come to my office now. I'll send my driver." She rolled her eyes. Bossy as always. Athena. Whatever. Fine." A black car pulled up shortly after. The driver rolled down the window. Athena, right? She nodded and got in. The drive to his company wasn't long, but as soon as she stepped inside the massive building, she felt out of place. Unlike the penthouse where it was just her and Xander, here he was the CEO, powerful, respected, and surrounded by people who actually took him seriously. As she walked through the lobby, she could feel people glancing at her. Some whispered to each other, probably wondering why a high school girl in uniform was in his company. She ignored them and went straight to his office. Through the glass walls of the meeting room, she could see Xander at the head of the table. He was leaning back in his chair, his suit perfect, his expression unreadable as he listened to some executive talk. He looked different, more serious, completely in control. Athena sighed, pushing the thought away and heading to his office. She dropped onto the couch, pulling out her phone. 2 hours later, Athena was still scrolling through social media when she heard voices outside. The door opened and she looked up just in time to see Xander stepping inside, his secretary right behind him. The woman was smiling, her heels clicking against the floor as she walked too close to him. Then, without hesitation, she reached out and hugged him from behind. Athena froze. Something inside her twisted. What the hell? She had seen this woman before. His secretary, always by his side, always smiling a little too much around him. I've seen Xander and her almost kissing. She never really thought much of it before, but now it made her angry. Xander barely reacted, just glancing over his shoulder with a bored expression. "What are you doing?" The secretary pouted playfully. "Just welcoming you back, sir." Athena's grip on her phone tightened. Why did this bother her? It wasn't like she cared what he did. He was a playboy, right? This was normal for him. Then why did she feel this sudden wave of irritation? No, jealousy. No way. Mia's words echoed in her mind. "You really think he feels nothing?" Athena clenched her jaw. "I don't care." Still, she hated this feeling. It had been a few days since Athena saw him with that secretary at his office. She hadn't spoken about it, and neither had he. But something inside her felt different, unsettled. Tonight she found him in the living room, lounging on the couch in his penthouse, his laptop open on his lap, the dim glow of the screen reflecting against his sharp features. His hair was slightly tousled, and his hazel eyes flicked up at her when she approached. She turned to look out the massive glass windows, the New York City skyline stretching before her. The city lights blinked like stars, but her focus was elsewhere, on the man sitting behind her, the one who had been occupying her thoughts way too much lately. She hesitated, then slowly walked toward him, her arms crossed. Xander smirked without looking away from his laptop. "What is it, wifey? You need something?" She swallowed hard, her eyes tracing his features. "Why does he look so handsome these days? Maybe I like him a little? No, that's impossible, right?" She started, feeling her throat go dry. Xander raised a brow. "What, can't even get the words out now?" Her face heated. "Shut up, old man." He chuckled, finally shifting his attention from his screen to her. His gaze swept over her, making her self-conscious. No oversized shirt with nothing underneath tonight. His voice dropped slightly. She rolled her eyes. "Shut your mouth." Xander smirked and leaned back, his attention shifting back to his laptop. She glanced at the screen, pictures of sleek black cars, a presentation probably for a meeting. He was focused, too focused, and it annoyed her. Athena clenched her fists. She wanted his attention. Maybe it was reckless, maybe it was crazy, but she didn't care. Before she could overthink it, she stepped forward, gripping his shoulders, and pushed him back against the couch. His laptop slid off his lap onto the cushion beside him as he stared at her in shock. "What the hell are you doing?" Xander narrowed his eyes. "If you're trying to start a fight, I don't have the mood for it, Athena." Her face burned, but she forced herself to stay put. This was embarrassing. This was insane. But she wasn't backing down. Slowly, she moved, straddling his lap, her hands gripping his shoulders as she sat on top of him. Xander froze, his hazel eyes darkened. "The hell?" His voice was hoarse. "Are you trying to seduce me?" Athena met his gaze, her heart hammering in her chest. "Yes." Xander blinked, his grip tightened on her waist. "What?" "I want to," she whispered. "I want to know how it feels." His jaw clenched. "Feel what?" "Sex." Silence. Xander exhaled sharply, his hand sliding down to grip her waist firmly. His fingers dug into her skin as he searched her face, his breathing uneven. "You're really something, Athena," he muttered. "Did you forget our rules?" "I remember." Her hands cupped his face, her thumbs brushing against his sharp jawline. His skin was warm beneath her touch, and his scent, whiskey and expensive cologne, invaded her senses. She felt his resolve cracking, and for the first time, Xander looked like he was the one losing control. But before she could say anything else, he moved. In a sudden motion, he pushed her down against the couch, flipping their positions so that he was the one hovering over her now. His lips crashed against hers. The kiss was deep, rough, and full of unspoken frustration. His hand gripped the side of her face, his body pressing against hers, leaving no space between them. When he finally pulled back, his breath was hot against her lips. "There's no going back, wifey," he murmured, his eyes wild with something dangerous. "If you start this, I'm not stopping." Athena swallowed. "Then don't." Xander let out a low curse. He grabbed her wrist, pulling her up from the couch, and in the next second, he was carrying her, his grip firm as he headed toward his bedroom. And this time, neither of them had any intention of stopping. The bedroom door clicked shut behind them, the sound echoing in the thick, quiet air. Xander didn't set her down right away. He held Athena close, his grip firm yet careful, as he looked into her eyes with an intensity that made her heart flutter and her stomach twist. The tension between them was palpable, sparking in the silence like static electricity that had been building for months. Her heart raced as he carried her to the bed, laying her down gently as he leaned over her. The dim glow from the city outside cast soft shadows across his sharp features, making him look mysterious and completely captivating. "Last chance," he murmured, his voice low and serious. "You sure about this, wifey?" Athena's breath caught. She knew that saying yes meant there was no going back, no more dodging their feelings, no more pretending not to care. What they felt was real, raw, and undeniable. She reached for him, grabbing the front of his shirt and pulling him close until their faces nearly touched. "Shut up and kiss me." Xander's lips curled into a smirk before he leaned in, kissing her with a passion that stole the breath right from her lungs. It wasn't playful or casual. It was deep, heated, and all-consuming. As the kiss deepened, her hands found his shoulders, and his arms wrapped around her. Their connection felt electric, like everything else in the world had vanished except for the two of them in that room. His fingertips brushed up her back, pulling her even closer. Athena gasped, a shiver running through her as he held her like she was the only thing that mattered. "You have no idea how long I've wanted this," he whispered against her forehead. She smiled and tangled her fingers in his hair, whispering back, "Then stop holding back." He kissed her again, slower this time, but with no less emotion. His lips moved from hers to her jaw, then her neck, leaving soft, lingering kisses that made her toes curl in delight. She tilted her head, letting him explore freely, her fingers clutching his shoulders for balance as he sent her heart spinning. He paused, looking at her with a silent question in his eyes. She met his gaze, cheeks flushed but steady. Don't stop, she said softly. That was all the confirmation he needed. Their movements became more in sync, gentle, steady, but full of meaning. The heat between them wasn't just physical, it was emotional, intense, and full of trust. They weren't just two people caught up in a moment. They were two hearts finding their rhythm. Tell me what you want, he whispered against her hair. I just want to be with you, she breathed, holding him tighter. They moved together, closer and closer, their breaths sinking, their hearts pounding in unison. Every look, every whisper, every touch spoke louder than words ever could. Athena felt herself caught in something overwhelming, yet beautiful. She held on as the moment built, wave after wave of emotion washing over her. Xander, she gasped, unable to finish the thought as her heart thundered in her chest. Me too, he said hoarsely, brushing a hand along her cheek. With one final shared moment, they both fell into the calm that followed, quiet, breathless and warm. Neither of them spoke for a while. Their bodies were still, but their hearts were racing. Eventually, Xander rolled onto his side and tucked a strand of hair behind Athena's ear. You're mine now, wifey, he teased with a soft smile. Athena rolled her eyes but smiled back. I was already yours, she said gently. He chuckled and pulled her closer, wrapping his arms around her like a protective shield. She nestled against his chest, feeling the steady rhythm of his heartbeat. For the first time in a long time, Athena felt completely at peace. There were no more words to say. They both already knew what it meant. There's no turning back. The morning sunlight was too bright. Or maybe it wasn't the sunlight. Maybe it was the way everything felt so different. Athena blinked, her body sore and aching in ways she had never experienced before. Every little shift in movement sent a dull throb through her thighs, a painful reminder of what had happened last night. Her chest rose and fell in a deep breath as she turned her head, eyes landing on the bed. The sheets. A small stain of dried blood. Her fingers curled into the blanket as the memory of last night rushed back, his hands gripping her waist, his voice rasping in her ear, the way he whispered her name like she was something precious, something he needed. Her face burned. She groaned, pressing her palms against her eyes. Damn it. She had lost her virginity. To her husband. The same old man she swore she would never fall for. Her eyes flickered toward the bedside clock. 11:37 a.m. Her heart stopped. Shit. School! She tried to sit up, but the second she moved, her legs wobbled, and a sharp pain shot through her thighs. She flopped back onto the mattress with a frustrated groan. I can't even walk properly. Just as she was cursing Xander for being too rough, the door to the bedroom opened. She turned her head, and there he was. Xander stood in the doorway, holding a tray of food, his hair slightly damp from a shower. He was wearing a plain white t-shirt and grey sweatpants, looking annoyingly comfortable, as if he hadn't just ruined her ability to walk properly. His hazel eyes landed on her, and a smirk curled on his lips. Ah, you're awake. She swallowed hard, suddenly very aware of the way the blanket barely covered her body. Xander walked over and placed the tray beside her on the nightstand, before leaning in slightly, his smirk deepening. Didn't I tell you not to move? She looked away, her face burning. I need to get up. I'm late for school. Xander scoffed. School? Wifey, it's already noon. You're not going anywhere today. Athena glared at him. But you can't even walk properly, he cut her off, amusement flickering in his eyes. Still sore, huh? Her face turned completely red. Shut up. He chuckled deeply, sitting down beside her. Eat, he ordered, picking up a spoon and handing it to her. You need energy after last night. Athena hesitated. Why are you being so nice? Xander smirked, resting his chin on his palm. What, you want me to be an asshole first thing in the morning? She rolled her eyes. Wouldn't be surprising. He shook his head, picking up a spoonful of food and holding it up to her lips. Just eat, Athena. She huffed, but took the spoon from him. As she ate in silence, she couldn't shake the strange warmth settling inside her. This wasn't how she expected to wake up, and yet she didn't hate it. Xander knew he was screwed. Completely, absolutely, fucking screwed. Xander sat on the edge of the bed, watching Athena as she ate, her lips pursed in frustration, her cheeks still pink from embarrassment. He couldn't stop staring at her. The way her hair was messily spread across the pillows, the way her bare shoulder peeked from under the blanket, the way her lips were swollen from all the times he had kissed her last night. Everything about her was driving him insane. And the worst part, he wanted her again. He should have known this would happen. He should have known that the moment he touched her, the moment he tasted her, there would be no going back. She was under his skin, and it pissed him off, because it wasn't just lust. Last night was different. The way she had looked at him before she whispered those words, "I want to know how it feels," the way her hands had gripped him so tightly, the way she had trusted him with something she had never given anyone before. It wasn't just about sex, it was her. Athena Cruz was reckless, stubborn, and a damn pain in the ass. And yet, here he was, making sure she ate, cleaning the bloodstains off the sheets, and fighting the urge to pull her into his arms again. He leaned back, rubbing his jaw. When the fuck did this happen? When did he start caring about her? He was Xander Ashford. He didn't do relationships. He didn't fall for anyone. But Athena was different. She was under his skin, messing up his life, making him crave things he never gave a damn about before. And it scared the shit out of him. Because if there was one thing he hated more than anything, it was losing control. And Athena Cruz was slowly becoming the one thing he couldn't control. The rest of the day passed in a strange blur. Xander wouldn't let her leave the penthouse. He made sure she ate, made sure she rested. She hated how bossy he was, but also didn't have the energy to argue. Her body was still sore. Every movement brought back flashes of the night before. His voice, his touch, the way he said her name like it meant something. She shook her head, annoyed at herself. Get a grip, Athena. She sat on the couch, hugging her knees, staring out at the skyline, completely unsure of what to do next. They'd crossed a line, one she couldn't uncross. She had told herself this marriage wasn't real, that it was temporary. But every time she looked at him, her chest tightened. And when she thought about the way he treated her, touched her, even just looked at her, that same warmth came rushing back. She was falling for him, and it scared her. Xander leaned on the kitchen counter, swirling the whiskey in his glass. He needed to clear his head. His thoughts were all over the place, and the person causing them sat just feet away, curled on the couch, lost in her own world. Athena Cruz, his wife, the same girl who drove him up the wall, who called him names, who rolled her eyes at him like he was the most annoying person alive. And yet last night, something changed. She had been close, closer than ever. Her hands, her voice, her eyes. It wasn't just about attraction anymore. This wasn't supposed to happen. I wasn't supposed to want her like this. He looked at her again, curled up in his sweatshirt, looking small and quiet, and something tugged at his chest. Athena shifted slightly and winced. Still sore? He asked. She gave him a sharp look. Gee, I wonder why. He smirked and took a sip. I did warn you. She chucked a pillow at him. Shut up, old man. He laughed and caught it with ease, but something inside him shifted. Without really thinking, he walked over and crouched beside her. Seriously, he asked, gently touching her knee. Does it hurt? She froze, startled by the tenderness in his voice. It's Fine, she murmured, but he knew she was lying. I'll run you a bath. What? No, Relax, I won't join you, he teased, unless you want me to. I hate you. Uh-huh, he said with a smile. Just stay put. As he turned away, he barely caught her whisper. Then stop making me fall for you, idiot. He froze. Did she really just say that? His heart thundered. This girl is going to ruin me. In the shower, the warm water felt amazing on her skin, easing her tension. She leaned back and sighed, but her thoughts were chaos. Xander had been acting different, gentler. He even ran her a bath. Who does that? What was happening between them? She touched her lips, remembering his kiss. There was urgency in it, like she mattered. Her heart fluttered. No way, not him, not Xander Ashford. And yet, thinking about him with someone else made her stomach twist. Maybe, just maybe, she was falling too. She sighed, wrapped herself in a towel, and stepped out of the bathroom, only to nearly crash into him. He was standing right there, tall and serious, his eyes darker than usual as they moved over her damp hair. What are you doing here? She asked, clutching the towel tighter. He didn't answer. He just stepped forward and started gently towel drying her hair. Athena froze. His fingers brushed her forehead, tucking damp strands behind her ear. She shivered, not from the cold, but from him. His eyes locked on hers. I'm falling for you, Athena. Her breath caught. Let's forget the rules, he said. Let's be real. Let's be real husband and wife. Her heart skipped. I'll change, he said. This life, this heart, it's yours now. She stared, stunned. Was he serious? He looked nervous, but determined. Forget the contract, he whispered. Let's just be married, for real. Athena's lips parted. Then she laughed softly. You're really confessing right now? She said, tilting her head up. Are you mocking me? Lean down. He obeyed, and she pressed a soft kiss to his lips. He didn't move. I'll open my heart too, she whispered. Let's do this for real. His breath hitched. You're gonna regret saying that, he teased. Before she could reply, he pulled her into a warm embrace and kissed her, tender but passionate. Let's make it official, he whispered against her forehead. And that night, Xander Ashford made sure she never doubted. Athena stirred awake in the middle of the night, the soft glow of the city lights slipping through the curtains. Her body felt heavy, sore in ways she hadn't expected. She shifted slightly and winced. Her legs refused to move properly. Damn it! She turned her head to the side, her gaze landing on Xander's sleeping figure beside her. His face was peaceful, lips slightly parted as he breathed evenly. The sheets barely covered his bare torso, exposing his toned muscles and broad shoulders. The warmth of his body still lingered on her skin, reminding her of everything that had happened between them. Her fingers twitched before she hesitantly reached out, gently running them through his messy blonde hair. He looked different like this, calm, almost soft. It was hard to believe that just a few months ago, she hated his guts. And now, we're actually trying to be a real married couple. Her heart pounded at the thought. Had she really fallen for this old man? Could she trust that he'd actually change for her? He'd said it himself, promising to cut off the women from his past and devote himself to her. As she was lost in her thoughts, Xander stirred beside her, his hazel eyes fluttering open, his gaze locked onto hers, still heavy with sleep. You awake, wifey? His deep, raspy voice sent a shiver down her spine. She quickly pulled her hand away, but he caught her wrist and brought it to his lips, pressing a soft kiss against her skin. Hungry? Want me to make you something? He murmured, his fingers gently caressing her cheek. Athena swallowed, feeling a warmth in her chest. This side of him was so different. It made her want to believe him. She shook her head. No, I'm fine. Xander hummed and pulled her closer, resting his chin on top of her head. Good, 'cause I don't want to move. She rolled her eyes at him, but before she could say anything, her phone vibrated on the nightstand. She grabbed it and saw her mother's name flashing on the screen. Her heart skipped a beat. Oh, shit. She glanced at Xander before answering, her voice hesitant. Yeah, Mom? Her mother's voice was cheerful on the other end. Athena, we're having a family dinner tomorrow night. Don't forget to come, and bring your husband. His parents will be there too. Athena's stomach dropped. A dinner with both of their families? With his parents there too? She hesitated. Okay, Mom. Good, no excuses. See you tomorrow. The call ended before she could protest. She slowly put her phone down and groaned. Xander smirked beside her. What's with the face? She turned to him, eyes narrowing. We have to go to my parents' house tomorrow for dinner. Xander raised a brow. And your parents will be there too, she muttered. Xander stretched his arms behind his head, looking completely unfazed. So? It's just dinner. Athena scoffed. For you, maybe. But this is the first time we'll be in the same room with both our parents since the wedding. What if they start talking about grandkids or something? Xander let out a low chuckle. Well, considering how loud you were earlier, I don't think that's a bad idea. Her face turned red instantly. Shut up! She grabbed a pillow and smacked him, but he only laughed. He caught her wrist, pulling her against him once more. Relax, wifey. If they start talking about grandkids, we'll just have to give them what they want someday. Athena's breath hitched. The way he was looking at her, so sure, so serious, made her heart pound. As Athena buried her face in his chest, trying to cool down from his teasing, Xander chuckled, running his fingers through her damp hair. You're thinking too much, he murmured. It's just dinner, and besides. He tilted her chin up, his hazel eyes locking onto hers. Our parents should see that we're actually trying to make this work. Athena swallowed. But what if they start asking awkward questions? Xander smirked. Then we'll answer them. Or if you get too embarrassed, I'll just pull you onto my lap and shut them up myself. She smacked his shoulder. Pervert! He only laughed, but then his expression softened. But really, wifey, I meant what I said. Fuck the rules. I want this to be real. His fingers traced her jaw, his gaze never wavering. And that includes dealing with our parents together. Athena's heart pounded. She wanted to believe him, and maybe, just maybe, she did. Sighing, she leaned against his chest. Fine, but if things get too awkward, I'm blaming you. Xander grinned, kissing the top of her head. Deal. As she closed her eyes, exhaustion finally pulling her back to sleep, Xander held her a little tighter. He had never imagined himself wanting something more than just a temporary thrill. But here she was, his little wife, stubborn, bold, and completely taking over his life. And for once, he didn't mind at all. The morning sun filtered through the large windows of their penthouse, casting a golden hue over the room. Athena groaned as she shifted under the covers, her body aching from the night before. She stretched her legs, only to wince when a sharp soreness shot up her thighs. Damn it! She muttered, pulling the blanket over her head. She turned to her side, expecting to find Xander still asleep beside her, but the space next to her was empty. The sheets were slightly warm, meaning he had woken up not too long ago. She sighed and sat up, rubbing her eyes before glancing at the clock. Her eyes widened. 7:30 a.m. Shit! She panicked. She was already running late for school. Forcing herself out of bed, she grabbed her robe and shuffled toward the door. The soreness in her legs made her walk awkwardly, and she cursed under her breath. Yesterday was insane. As she stepped into the hallway, she was met with the aroma of coffee. She made her way toward the kitchen, and there he was, Xander Ashford, standing by the counter, dressed in a crisp black suit, sipping his coffee with that usual smug look on his face. She scowled. "Why didn't you wake me up?" Xander glanced at her lazily over his cup before setting it down. "I thought you didn't want to wake up." She crossed her arms. "I have school, you know." He leaned back against the counter, smirking. "Are your legs okay now?" Her face burned. He was so shameless. "They're fine," she muttered, looking away. Liar. Xander chuckled as he picked up a plate and placed it on the counter. "Here, drink this and eat something before you go." Athena blinked. A sandwich and a hot cup of coffee were waiting for her. She hesitated before taking them, mumbling, "Thanks." Xander only smirked, watching as she quickly finished the sandwich. Once she was done, she grabbed her school bag and adjusted her uniform, still a little flustered from the unexpected kindness. "I'll drive you to school," Xander said, as he grabbed his car keys. She rolled her eyes. "Yeah, you always do. It's not like I have a choice. My motorcycle is still at my parents' house, and they won't give it back to me anyway." He chuckled, walking toward her before placing a quick kiss on her forehead. "Let's go. Don't be so grumpy, wifey." Athena walked into the school halls with a slight limp, trying not to make it obvious, but as soon as she reached her locker, her best friends Mia and Ali were already there, waiting for her. "Athena?" Mia narrowed her eyes. "Why are you walking like that?" Ali smirked. "Yeah, you look like you just ran a marathon or something." Athena bit her lip, quickly opening her locker. "It's nothing." Mia and Ali exchanged glances before realization dawned on them. "No way!" Mia gasped, covering her mouth. Al grinned. "Athena, did you finally do it?" Athena groaned, slamming her locker shut. "Can you two be quiet?" Mia squealed, grabbing her arm. "You did it! Oh my God! How was it?" Al wiggled his eyebrows. "Bet he was rough, huh?" Athena flushed bright red. "I am not discussing my sex life with you two," Mia pouted. "Come on. We're your best friends." Athena sighed, rubbing her temples. "Fine, yes, it happened. And yes, I'm sore. Happy now?" Mia giggled. "This is huge. Does this mean you guys are like a real couple now?" Athena hesitated before nodding. "Yeah, he told me he wanted us to be a real couple, no more pretending." Al smirked. Well, well, well. Looks like Mr. Playboy CEO is finally tamed." Mia gasped. "Wait, did he actually confess?" Athena bit her lip, remembering last night. She nodded. "Yeah, he did." Mia practically melted. "That's so romantic." Al snickered. "Damn, the fact that he's serious about you, that's wild." Athena sighed. I still don't know if I can trust him completely." Mia squeezed her hand. "Give it time. If he's serious, he'll prove it." Athena nodded. Deep down, she knew there was no turning back now. Xander was already waiting outside in his sleek black car when Athena came out. She slid into the passenger seat, and he greeted her with a smirk. "Hey, wifey." She smiled. "Hey." He glanced at her uniform. "School okay?" "Yeah, except for my nosy friends grilling me about last night." Xander chuckled. "They know?" She huffed. "They could tell." He smirked. "Well, I did put in the work." She smacked his arm. "Shut up, old man." He laughed and started driving. "We have to get ready. Dinner at your mum's house, remember?" Yeah, she muttered. When they got home, Xander walked to his closet and pulled out a sleek red dress. "Wear this." Athena raised an eyebrow. "Since when do you pick my outfits?" He smirked. "Just want you to look stunning." She rolled her eyes but put it on anyway, as they walked into the lavish dining hall, their hands intertwined, laughter slipping between them. Their parents looked at them in shock. Xander's mother raised an eyebrow. "Wow, look at you two. Since when did you become so lovey-dovey?" Athena blushed. but Xander just rolled his eyes. Well, she's hard not to like, his father scoffed. Took you long enough to realize? Athena's mother beamed. I told you this marriage wasn't a bad idea. Xander's father smirked. So, when can we expect grandkids? Athena choked on her drink, coughing. Xander, however, only grinned. Who knows? Maybe sooner than you think? Athena turned to him, horrified. Excuse me? He leaned in and whispered, Relax, wifey. I'm just teasing. She scowled and smacked his arm under the table, making him chuckle. As dinner continued, the conversation flowed smoothly. Their parents talked about business, future plans, and their newfound love. Athena's mother looked at her with a knowing smile. You seem happy, sweetheart. Athena glanced at Xander, who was currently arguing with his father about work. She hesitated before answering. Yeah, I think I am. Her mother patted her hand. I'm glad. As she looked at Xander again, laughing at something his mother said, Athena couldn't deny it anymore. She had really fallen for her husband. To be continued. Like and comment next if you want the next episode. This is Mr. Hope. Thank you all for watching.